going?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rum and Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
And tonight we are going to wrap up our discussion on The Legend of Vox Machina. We're going to talk about the final 6 episodes and our thoughts on the series as a whole. And just like last time, we have special guest in-house, again, our Critical Role expert, Sarah Griffin. How are you?
Yay, hello. Thanks for letting me come back.
So last time you were, I know you were a little nervous to come back or to get on the first time, but now you're back and the nerves are gone. I guess you're ready for it.
I'm good.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, welcome back. We're so stoked to have you. And let's, but first, let's roll into our segments. Nate, or I'm sorry, Joe, do you have a horror corner for us?
Yes, I do. So first off is kind of horror adjacent. I finally started Demon Slayer, the anime on Netflix.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
It's really good. It's a lot of fun. And,
excellent.
It's the premise is son goes off to the market to make money for his family, comes back, his whole family's dead, except for his sister, who's been turned into a demon.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Yep. So, and of course, it's I have to save my sister and turn her back into a human.
Right.
So the best way to do that is to go join the Demon Slayer Corps.
Yeah,
And-
quest reasons there.
Yep. And then just go kill a bunch of demons.
Yeah, quest reasons is Elmer Fudd's D&D campaign.
right. Yep.
Bugs is the finale. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The demons are really neat. Like they all are different and weird looking and just awesome.
That's cool. I haven't actually started that. I'd love to get into that.
Yeah, I'm on. I think I'm 7 episodes in, and it's 2 seasons. The first one's like 20 episodes, and the other one's like 18.
Nice.
So not quite supernatural length, but
Okay.
but it's pretty meaty.
Thank you,
A
God.
little girthy.
Ugh.
Oh, man. Nice.
And second is I finally watched Saint Maud, which it comes up on Dreadit, the horror subreddit. Every time somebody asks, what should I watch? Like, the third one down is Saint Maud. And everybody's just like, you have to watch it. So
Nice.
I finally watched it, and it's definitely worth all the raving reviews.
Okay.
It's a bit of
Cool.
a slow burn, but the payoff is huge, and it's really well acted and creepy as all hell. And you kind of really like there's twists and turns in it that you think you're gonna guess, and then it doesn't go that way. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
that
Where-
one it's
Where is this?
it's on Hulu,
Okay.
and it's like a nurse who is doing at-home hospice care.
Okay.
And so she's caring for, and she's newly devout religious.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, and it's it's a very like the main character. She like knocks it out of the park. I don't know her name off the top of my head. But she's like very similar vibes to like May, where it's like, oh, she's
sure.
sweet and lonely, but actually there's something very deeply wrong with this woman.
Yeah. So there's a movie that just released on Shudder called Hellbender, that had very similar themes.
Yeah.
And it's a mom and a daughter that are living sort of out in the woods, very secluded. And they're in this, like they play in this band together, and they basically spend all their time together. And then it slowly comes out over the course of the movie of sort of what's going on, right? I don't want to give too much away, but it was an okay movie. It was a solid 6 out of 10. But yeah, it made me think of May and all those others sort of. Oh, she's just the innocent, it's everything's everything. And then like, you're like, oh shit, no.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Something inherently wrong with this person.
Right. Yeah. So, And then anything more?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. And so and I want to talk to you about this one afterwards, but there's a new series that just started on Stars called The Shining Veil. And it is a sort of a love letter to sort of the thrilly horror movies past, where a lot of Shining references, a lot of Exorcist references, but it's Courtney Cox, Greg Kinnear, Mira Sorvino, and Greg Kinnear and Courtney Cox are a couple. They move into a house sort of in the backwoods. Courtney Cox is a writer who is trying to finish her novel, and she is like she starts having visions of ghosts.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and but like the drapes in the house is the wallpaper from The Shining.
Oh, wow! I was gonna say she's working on a novel. Does she go all Jack Torrance?
Well, so and in the first episode, this happens in the first 20 minutes, so I'm not really giving anything away. She sets up her office in the attic, right? Mm-hmm. And the attic is creepy as fuck to begin with, right? And then she's having trouble writing her novel, and then suddenly, like, she goes all you don't see her go wide-eyed, but she should have gone wide-eyed. Mm-hmm. And the lights flicker, and then she just starts to go.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then that was really, really kind of interesting. So
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So it was really, really good. We took in quite a bit of horror over the last couple weeks. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's been it's been fun. Yeah. But Hellbender, I think you'd get a kick out of on Shudder. And definitely, like, it's Shining Veil's just 2 episodes in right now, but so far so good. Like, I'm very, very hopeful for how this is gonna go.
Yeah, I got to see if we have Stars. I'm actually not sure.
If not, talk to me. I can probably
facilitate something.
Yes. Yeah. So streaming service selection of the week is going to be on Hbo Max. This is a series that I had no clue, nothing about, but Station 11. I don't know if you guys have heard about this or ever seen anything about this. I was browsing Hbo Max and saw this, and I was just like, oh, it's a series, and it's a limited series, and it's essentially like, what if COVID was more destructive than it was.
Ooh.
And decimated 90% of the population, right?
Yikes.
Sort of what would happen. But then it almost goes a little bit Star Trek, the original series, where one of the surviving sort of elements of civilization is this graphic novel called Station 11. And this sort of religious sect pops up that calls this book The Prophecy.
Oh shit.
Right? Yeah.
They get all culty about it.
Yeah. And so, but it's time jumpy. So you get a lot of sort of the night of versus a year later versus 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a cool, like, it's such a fun, it was one of the most satisfying sort of wrap-ups in storylines that I've gotten from a series in a while. So nice. Yeah, so it was really cool. So Station 11, Hbo Max, you guys should definitely check it out. 10 episodes. It's a good watch.
I do have HBO. So.
All right. Yeah. Nate, how are we doing over there?
We've got it.
Okay.
We're good.
Good.
We're golden.
All right.
Hey, I don't step on your outro. Don't step on my intro, son.
Sorry. I just had so much fun that we.
I know. I'm messing with you. Okay. Some Marvel minutes. Not too crazy this week.
Okay.
So we'll start out with the not news for Andy. Ant-Man 3 set video teases musical montage. They did this in the original Ant-Man when he was on lockdown. He was doing all this stuff and learning close-up magic and all that stuff in the original Ant-Man. So I'm excited to see them do that again. They did that really well.
Yeah.
The quick quote, 2023 is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, currently stands as Marvel Studios' last officially scheduled movie in Phase 4, set to release in theaters next July. And it looks like same characters, biggest adventure. Oh, that's right. Kang the Conqueror is supposed to come back. Jonathan Majors.
Oh, that's right.
He's supposed to come back in this movie. So this is supposed to end Phase 4. So it's going to be crazy big.
Okay.
But again, it's not until 2023. Next not news story for Andy. Did we miss Deadpool in Shang-Chi? So apparently there was some leaked concept art that showed Deadpool and Proxima Midnight fighting at the Macau Fight Club. You know, when you see Wong fighting Abomination.
Right.
That whole scene. Apparently they might have been Deadpool and somebody else. According to that, I know it would have been amazing. Marvel has commented there were not any official plans, but I think the fact that story got a little bit of traction means that people are loving Deadpool and want to see him in the MCU. We're going to get him pretty soon, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Spider-Man No Way Home is available digitally on the 23rd of March, which will be great for those of you that haven't seen it.
Sorry.
That's fine. It's an amazing movie. You'll love it. Yeah. The reason I bring that up is Sony just dropped a new trailer that actually shows Tobey and Andrew Garfield in the trailer. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, they go full spoiler to get the hype up for the digital stuff.
Gotcha.
Well, and I saw they did the meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually released a bunch of really cool merch. I'll have to send you guys the image. It's basically all three Spider-Man logos overlaid on each other. And
neat.
Merch with that on it now. It looks great.
Okay.
MCU rebooting Daredevil with season 4 potentially coming soon. We knew that they were taking all of the shows, which are available later in March, the Netflix shows. But there are rumors that they're actually going to just do a season 4 of Daredevil with Charlie Cox as opposed to just bringing everything in house, which would be epic. Hopefully they get all of the characters back.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes, because it'd be a little confusing considering what happened with Hawkeye and Kingpin and then Kingpin in the Daredevil finale.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I like this one a lot actually. Sam Jackson criticized the Oscars for Spider-Man snub. And I really I want somebody to put a meme together like, I'm tired of the motherfucking blank on the motherfucking blank with Sam Jackson, but
I like how you bleeped out not the expletives in that.
Yes. I mean, that was intended. But yeah.
Right.
It was the insert thing here as opposed to trying to G-rate it. His quote was, "They should have an Oscar for the most popular movie because that's what the business is about. It did what movies have done forever. It got people in a big, dark room." Okay. Thanks, Sam.
No, but isn't the revenue do you really need an award to say, because the most popular movie is the one that the most people go to, right?
Right.
You don't necessarily need to vote on it. So why not? I mean, you're already getting that accolade of, hey, you made the most money this year. Congratulations.
I think this is a stopgap for the fact that the Oscars are too stuck up and pretentious to give superhero movies their due. So this would allow that, as opposed to them having to actually change who they are, which sucks.
Well, no, that's true, because you have to die to win to win an Oscar for a movie.
Jesus, yeah,
a comic book movie.
But yes,
well, it's true.
No, it is true. It's absolutely true.
Would Heath Ledger have been nominated had he stayed alive?
There's no way you watch that movie and not give him a nom at least. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
His other quote was great. "All movies are valid. Some go to the cinema to be moved deeply. Some like superheroes. If somebody has more butts in seats, it just means your audience is not as broad as their audience is. And people have successful careers in movies, but nobody can recite one line of any parts they've ever played. I'm the guy who says shit that's on a t-shirt." I fucking love Sam Jackson. It's the one that says "bad motherfucker."
Yeah.
That's the end of that story. I thought that was great.
No, that is good.
I'd love to hear some more. I want to see some memes with with Jules and in those quotes in it.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So the last Morbius trailer came out recently, and it reveals 100% MCU connection. He met Michael Keaton's Vulture in the prison lockup. We saw that happen before, but they made it official by showing them actually in the same frame. So it's weird. For a while, they were teasing back and forth that it was in the Sonyverse, but then if he meets Vulture, how does that happen? So maybe there's a multiverse thing happening too. I don't know.
Now, do we know that it's Vulture?
That's a great point. I mean, I think it's the same character. He's got the same accent and everything and all that.
Okay.
He's in the prison garb that he was in before.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, that's a fair point. They don't call it Vulture. I think you're right. But
Okay.
anyway, I thought that was cool. So we'll see how that pans out. I was 100% in that was in the Sonyverse, and we were going to get Andrew Garfield with him, which would have been great. But
Yeah.
could still happen considering all the stuff coming later. Marvel actually cast their Ironheart finally, which is great. Lyric Ross. I'm not really familiar with a bunch of her work, but there's going to be a Disney Plus Iron Man spinoff called Ironheart. And if people aren't familiar, it's basically a great comic book run from, I want to say, the early 2000s, where an honors student basically gets into the Stark Foundation, gets the scholarship, and has Tony Stark level kind of intellect and tinkering. So she takes up the mantle of Iron Man, calling it Ironheart, and goes from there, which will be cool to see how that works into the whole universe. What else do we got? Moon Knight comes out this month on the 30th.
That's right.
Moon Knight's symbol is a waning crescent moon, and guess what moon we're going to have in the sky on the 30th? The waning crescent moon. Brilliant marketing. Good job, guys. Kudos. Loving the way that's set up. Let's see. Doctor Strange coming out May 6th. That's going to be huge.
Woohoo.
Thor Love and Thunder on July 8th. Black Panther November 11th. So that's the rest of Marvel movies for the year. And then I found this thing, the last thing I've got here. I found this on the same site. You're fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
ASMR beer opening is perfect.
Yeah. Right.
Every superhero movie in 2022 ranked by excitement level. So this is not for me, but I loved it. So we'll just go through this quickly.
Okay.
Number 10, DC League of Super Pets. Keanu Reeves is Batman, and I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, that trailer was good. That was really
so
good.
Great.
Yeah.
Number 9, Morbius, which is going to be great. Number 8, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So we get some more of that. That should be fun. Number 7, Black. Yeah, right. Exactly. Why don't you go fuck a fish? That's just a rumor. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Number 7's Black Adam, which I'm here for. We'll see what happens. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, I think, has been underreported.
That's inspired casting right there.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. That'll be interesting to see. That's going to be the first on-screen appearance of Dr.
No, it's
Fate,
not. He's been in the small TV screen before. He's been in
live action though.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had him in. They had him at Stargirl. They also had him on.
Sorry, that blockbuster. That was Stargirl. I missed.
No, and Cripes. He was in He was in another one too.
Okay.
I want to say Flash, but I might be wrong.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you said the Flash. That's the next one on his list, number 6.
Okay.
I'm kind of surprised that isn't higher, considering everything that they've shown. Multiple Flashes, multiple Batmen, multiple everybody's.
Apparently, the powder keg that is Ezra Miller is keeping that lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
So,
well, we'll see what happens with that. Number 5, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm hyped as hell to see what they do with this. Just like the what the hell factor. Number 4 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So that's the sequel to the animated Marvel that was Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Number 3 is Thor: Love and Thunder, which I am so here for Natalie Portman being a badass mighty Thor. That's going to be great. Number 2, The Batman, which I saw and is amazing as fuck. So for the podcast listeners, we had an amazing Arcane podcast with an expert, Steve Beliefka, who went at 10:30 in the morning yesterday to go see the Batman in IMAX on my recommendation and came out going, holy shit, it's everything I ever wanted. This is my favorite Batman of all time. Oh my God, the vinyl. They have 3 different soundtracks coming out today. I'm totally going to go. Yeah. So
That's great.
Yeah, Steve's amazing, and this movie is no bullshit. One of the best superhero movies I think ever made, and definitely one of my favorite. I'd say it's probably my favorite version of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Knight is still my favorite Batman movie just because it's perfect.
Yeah.
This is number 2 for me.
Okay.
In all of the Batman stuff. So Mask of the Phantasm, everything. So
all right. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. Once you guys see this, if you can, God, please go see it in the theater, and we need to podcast. And Steve is like chomping at the bit. Hey, so when you guys podcasting? I really want to podcast with you guys.
Yeah. Steve's podcast with us is still our highest downloaded podcast of the year. So,
oh, nice. Well, shots
fired.
You better bring it.
No pressure, Sarah. No pressure at all.
No pressure.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So the number 1, no surprise, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
This is going to be banana pancakes. I can't wait.
My cumber husband.
Yeah, right? It's going to be so good.
I need to start sewing cosplay updates.
You need to start selling stuff on your Etsy store related to Doctor Strange. You would make a grip.
Evil cumber husband.
Whoa.
Heyo.
I think Joe needs to take a break. So bonus, Batgirl coming out late 2022 with the Michael Keatons as the Batman.
That's right.
Training the Batgirl, which will be great, I think. I'm excited to see him in the cowl again. That'll be fun.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I'm more excited for the Flash movie is just to see how he connects to it.
Yeah, same. I think that's all I've got for the this week's Marvel Minute.
Nicely done. All right, well let's get into it. Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta outdo Steve.
Right. We gotta insert a break for the Legend of Vox Machina intro music.
Right.
I watch every episode regardless. I can't. It's like it's not the same as Peacemaker because that's just oh my god, this is beautiful.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's very catchy. So
yeah. So again, we're doing episodes 6 through 12, and then just our sort of our general thoughts on the series as a whole. So Sarah, start us off, episode 6, if you want to dig in.
All right. Well, I suppose super fast recap from the earlier ones. We defeated a dragon, took down Brimside, set the stage. The Briarwoods come in. We get a lot of Percy backstory, and they head off back to Whitestone to see what's going on with the Briarwoods, discover it to be a lonely, sad, desolate, undead haven for the Briarwoods, and he wants to liberate his people. So that's where we kind of take off, is the beginnings of the rebellion.
The last image of 5 is the tree, right? With the kids? Or no?
No,
of 6?
that was earlier.
That was earlier? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But so we it actually starts off episode 7 called Scanbo, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because in the stream, Sam Riegel took his tie off and put it around his head.
Like Rambo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I forgot.
But it actually starts off with a flashback into some more Percy backstory with Professor Anders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And something. There's a couple of other places in here that we'll touch on it, but I really am enjoying the flashback sequences because you don't really get that in live stream D&D play.
Yeah,
right.
So the ability to show more of the history and like the motivation of like the bad guys and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's something that's definitely added in this medium, and I love it.
Yeah.
So you can see that Anders is teaching Percy and his younger sister Cassandra, which are only 2 of 7 kids, I think. It's a pretty big family.
I mean, rip to the rest, right?
Yeah.
But it gives a little bit of, in-story background to Whitestone, which is the natural stone around the area, and how they refined it into Residuum, which is a powerful magical reagent, and amplifies magical properties. And Anders clearly has this ambition of more that he thinks could be done with Residuum. And the elder Derolos are like, know your place, sir.
Teach our kids, don't blow them up. Stop
Yeah.
asking for things above your station. I love that it's Talson's voice as the father. It's just a different, like, deeper and modified a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Percy's dad as voiced by Percy's voice actor.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically we take off into Scanlan, about to head off to do a some espionage and subterfuge.
Let me be
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, annoying. Let me be annoying. Which, of course, in real D&D game terms, actually came out from just not being organized.
Oh, really?
Of them like, wait, who's going there? Did you? No, we were going to stay here, and
That's
you were going to
hilarious.
go, and like it just kind of ended up being Scanlan by
That's
himself. Like, sure, I can do this. It looked a lot more thoughtfully planned
I'm sure.
in the show.
I did like the way that apparently he has Mage Hand cantrip also, which is also Scanlan's hand, because he's got a little version that can do little stuff.
Right.
Like, as opposed to the giant, like, 12-foot,
Right.
Bigby's hand thing.
Not wasting a high level spell slot
There you
for
go.
that one.
Right.
Yeah. But I did love the planning sequence of them around the map, all giving their versions of how they should go in and what they
that
should
was-
do.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Was that this one?
No, I think it
No, that was
before, right?
for busting out Archie
Right.
from the prisons.
Yeah, no, but that was amazing, and an
Yeah.
amazing nod to several different anime styles.
Mhm.
Just in
Right.
that one.
But
Yeah.
Scanlan's plan effectively held true, because
Mhm.
in that little animation sequence, he's like, "Oh, I've got all these potions. I don't know what
Yeah.
any of them do.
And it shows him
I'll
as
just take
Scanbo
those."
with the thump in his pants.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Great
Yeah.
save, Sarah.
Ta-da. But yeah, so and then he's on the way there. He's like singing to himself, like, "What am I
Right.
doing?"
Yeah.
Right. I totally meant to do that as he fell.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Thunk.
No.
Ouch. But oh man. And so, he gets into the house, and mayhem and chaos ensues.
Well, where does he enter the house, pray
Oh,
tell?
I'd rather not say.
I was eating the last time I
Gross.
watched this. Falls through an open window into a privy, and we get to see the
Oh, yeah.
most amazing cinematic shot in the history of Amazon.
Right.
Poop Cam 27.
Yeah. That's right.
Blech.
Yeah, hilarious. And that's the Hound, by the way, that voices that
Oh,
character.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Rory McCann. Yeah.
Oh my god, hilarious.
Yeah, so Vedmeyer, just right off the bat,
Yeah.
like, excuse you.
He eats a lot of fiber. He's dropping deuces.
Right.
Yeah.
But so when that sequence was going and Scanlan's running around and it's all crazy and he's like chugging the different potions,
Right,
not
right.
knowing what they're going to do, like he literally didn't know in the game
They didn't
what they were
identify
going to
anything?
do.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they
great.
didn't
Oh,
identify.
that's
It's like,
great.
you find a chest full of mysterious bottles. And he's like, okay, I'm going to chug one. And, Matt,
Yeah.
as Dungeon Master,
Right.
is like, roll some saving throw. And he tells him the number. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, what? What happens? It's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is advice for any would-be DMs. Don't let your party identify things easily. Make it cost some kind of resource, so that something like this can happen. Because
It's so
damn
much
it, it's
fun.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, your stomach's feeling a little upset. And
right.
then like,
Yeah.
You suddenly breathe fire on the guy.
so it's like, the plan was to set the house on fire. And
Perfect.
here we
Yeah.
go.
What was the teleportation one that he had? Like the one that was bamfing him around. I don't think they
blink.
ever.
I think it was
Okay,
like a blink.
like a blink potion.
Yeah, something along those
Well,
lines.
that's cool.
But you're just like, poof.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Very Nightcrawler-esque.
Yeah.
Oh.
But when I was watching that, I was like, knowing what had happened in the stream, I'm like, are they going to have this end the same ridiculous way it happened in the stream?
Mm.
No, that's just, there's the Triceratops.
It's like, wait, I haven't I've read this scroll 100 times, but I've never sung it before. Like, okay, there you go. Get your bard on.
Scroll of polymorph.
That's so great.
Polymorph into a triceratops and just go rampaging through.
I love how he busts through the door and he's like, not bad.
Yeah.
That's great. Joe, how did you like the sudden appearance of the triceratops being our resident dinosaur?
Oh, I loved it. Like, a dinosaur and my favorite one.
I heard a squee in the background when that happened. Like, Scanlan's Joe's favorite character, and then the triceratops on top of it. Like, of course.
Perfect.
Triceratops has always been my favorite dinosaur because it's got my name right in there.
Yeah.
So, oh man, it was all good, but jeez.
I love how you just slipped in a mom joke.
Right.
Super fast. That was great. It's such a dad joke, but it can't be a dad joke.
Glossing over that. Just now we're up on the roof.
Yeah,
and crotch lightning.
Crotch
Go.
lightning. That's the best quote. He's like, if the brothels have taught me anything,
Yeah.
the size doesn't matter, it's how you use it. And then he lightning bolts him from his crotch. That's the best show on TV.
If you look at the old intros to the stream, where they're all cosplaying as their characters.
Oh, he shoots.
Yeah.
Right, he does shoot the lightning crotch.
Sam as Scanlan does
that's
whoop.
right. And does is that what it's from? That's the reference?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, just in general, that's how Scanlan in
delivers his
character-
spells
Yeah.
via phallus.
Yep.
Gross.
It's,
No, really, I'm curing your wounds.
Right.
Why is your penis out? Ew.
Oh, jeez. We were keeping it civil here, Nate. Come on.
Have you listened to the podcast?
Right, I know, really. Jeez,
Is
yeah.
anyone?
Oh, it's been nice having Sarah on the stream.
Yeah.
That's the wrap.
Wow.
No, I take it back. Please let me.
Jesus.
Oh. Anyways, they're on the roof and he jumps off and a truss falls into Scanlan's hand. Woo!
Right, yes.
You can't gloss over the sword fight with the middle finger on Scanlan's hand back and
that was
forth.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the master of like, wait. Meh?
Right, yeah.
It's like classic, like, you wouldn't hit someone with glasses or
Right.
those kind of
Yeah.
things.
You're not wearing glasses. How about
Yeah.
now?
Oh,
Very
man.
fun.
Yeah.
But I'm going to skip forward a little bit, but we see later on episode 9 when Vedmire comes back again after getting like the lightning to the face.
Right.
He's got burn scars on half of his face as like a callback to the Hound.
Wasn't that from the fire? That was from the fire breath, and that's the Hound callback.
Yeah,
It's from the burns.
Yeah, so it's the fire, burn, light. All the damage he's taken. It's like the same kind of wound, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool nod for the actor. But
I didn't even put that together until just now. That's great.
yeah, well, it was my second watch through, where I was like, "Oh, damn!" So that was so cool. But yeah, somehow infiltration and espionage works.
They all didn't believe that it did because they're in their bunker going, "Holy shit, he actually did it!"
Yeah. And then they're able to go running into the other House of the Nobles.
Yeah, to rescue his sister. Right?
Yep, that has been gifted to Anders by the Briarwoods to rescue Cassandra. At which point Grog rushes in and immediately becomes a pincushion.
Not everything is a trap. Come on.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he walks in, they shoot him, and Vax is just like, "Oh, they're so fucked."
Yeah.
Grog rages, like throws axes and hulks out, basically.
Like grabs people
Yeah, so
ankle off
good.
the railing and all those things. But,
That's so great.
Man, it was good. And so then they find Anders holding Cassandra hostage, and Percy opens the door and sees him, and you're like, oh, all right, like they found her, they'll be able to like save her and rescue her.
Dagger to the neck.
Yeah.
And immediately slit throat and drop
this
down.
was a negotiation.
Yeah.
And throat like, ooh.
Yep. And that's where the episode just like cliffhangers. I think the second half of season 1 was just like on point of like the cliffhanger endings.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, thank God you could keep watching it mostly.
Yeah. Until the last one when we're like, holy shit, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but in general, it was like such good points.
Yeah, they built on it really well. Yeah.
Yeah, like here's where we're gonna stop at this moment, and
immediate pickup, right? Exactly, which we do in the next episode. She's choking out, bleeding out on the floor, basically. Cool. Whoever did the sound on that was man.
Oh yeah,
that was
Oh man, yeah. And so in game terms, they're all like low enough level, and no one has like revivify spells and stuff,
really?
Except for Pike, who isn't there.
Right.
She's
and so
her stuff, right?
Yeah, and so Matt as a dungeon master does what I think is a really cool thing, where he puts a lot of narrative into bringing people back to life. Because
what are you offering? And
like so making it's like
not just a spell or whatever.
Yeah, like you can heal people with a spell and whatever, and doing the same thing when a character has died from, failing your death saves or excessive amounts of damage or whatever. It's kind of, it feels like cheating, right? Where it's like, oh, you just, cast a spell and they're back. Woohoo!
Right.
So he typically has a lot more of like a skill challenge built in, where you have to succeed on certain checks, and especially for no spoilers, but if anyone were to experience a more significant character death, one might imagine that their friends would have to do a lot of work to like call the soul back to the body.
Right.
So
foreshadowing.
What? Nate threatened me on pain of death if I spoil anything. So.
I mean, it wasn't quite that dramatic, but close.
Are you sure?
I mean,
are you sure?
Skill check maybe to bring you back, but we'll see.
But yeah, in general, like I really like that as his DMing style, and so you can see in the show that kind of level of like the added effort of it not being just like an easy spell.
Right.
It's like cast and it's done and she's better. Like, oh, your sister's not dead. Just kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
That they actually have to work together and
put more. Yeah, there'd be no drama if it was that easy.
Right.
Right.
So I think they did a good job bringing the drama back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh man. Wait. So we're in episode 8 now.
Yeah. Silver Tongue.
Where that kind of cut.
Wow.
Arrives. I'm curious, what did you guys think of all of Pike's visions with her kind of parallel quest with the Everlight?
I loved it. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It came out. I was wondering where they were going to go with it. That it was that I didn't expect how it resolved sort of that way. Like her ultimate realization of, of sort of what she values ultimately, right? Yeah, and I thought I just thought that was brilliant. I thought that was a really great way for her to sort of center herself and to figure out, oh no, this is who I am. This is really who I am.
Right.
And then,
you can still be a beer drinking, cursing, fun person and be, holy at the same time.
There's hope for us after all.
Yeah, apparently. Right. Those of us that have no desire to be holy, I love the fact that they did exactly what you guys are talking about, where she is talking to the avatar of the Everlight and going, I lost my way and we like to drink and be rowdy, and Everlight's like, well, why do you think that's wrong?
Right.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Record scratch, like
yeah.
Just be true to yourself in the light kind of thing was
it shows that there's not one correct way to be a holy, righteous, good person.
Right. as long as you're true to yourself, and there you go.
Yeah, it's like you can have the positive intent and want to help people,
Right?
And you don't have to do it by some defined book or whatever.
Yep.
So
it was cool. The avatar was like, "You're not getting this. I'm gonna turn into you." And like, how about now? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
thank you.
Which I think they did such a good job of making the Everlight like feel epic and godly.
Oh yeah, with the sun coming in and her like freaking out about it. Yeah,
like in a world that already has dragons and undead, and necromancy and all that. Yeah. Like, how do you make something feel even bigger than all of that?
Especially without doing like the actual biblical eyes thing and freaking everybody out, that kind of version of it.
Yeah.
And so something in the kind of iconography that I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I thought was kind of cool is they sort of showed the Everlight, like semi-transparent, but with kind of like a interlacing like web design around like in the orb of the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
And my interpretation of that is as the divine gate. And so in the world of Taldore and everything, the gods are not like immediately present in the prime-material plane because they've all been sealed off behind.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Behind the divine gate that they put the good gods like kind of put up intentionally to protect mankind from like the betrayer gods.
Right.
And so I felt like the visual that they showed of her being kind of just like a shadowy outline with that kind of, net mesh kind of overlay looked like it showed, her presence being felt through the divine gate, but that's why she wasn't interfering or contacting Pike.
Oh, gotcha. Very cool.
Directly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
They can only communicate like that because she was at the holy site and
to be able to amplify the power and voice and everything.
Very cool. So. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was my reading into that one, and it was really cool. But then, simultaneously, Cassandra's bleeding out. They found Anders. Poor Grog has garbage wisdom saving throws. It's getting mind controlled.
Yeah, it gets mind controlled.
Yeah.
So they're all like fighting each other. And man, so there were a handful of potential Easter eggs, I feel like Anders' room.
Items in the case. I figured that was part of it, but I didn't catch any of those.
And there wasn't a whole lot that I feel like I immediately, like it wasn't super clear, like, the stuffed red weasel in Gilmore's shop.
I was just thinking Gilmore's shop,
but there's a lot of speculation out there of things like there was like a big cracked jug that might be like Grog's alchemy jug.
Nice.
Things like that. I'll be honest, I didn't see a whole lot where I went, oh, that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was clearly some cool stuff in that room.
Right. I really love this whole fight where he has like I forget what the name of the actual creature is. It's like, it's not animated armor. There's an armored defender or something like that specifically in D&D that are these crazy hulking armored things that are resistant to everything. Yeah. Couldn't figure it out. Like, oh, it's the straps. And then they finally start figuring out how to take these things out.
Gotta find the chinks in the armor.
Yeah. And that was before the Grog gets possessed, but they're all, I love the fact when Grog is going up against one, everyone else has figured out how to take him down. And Vax comes up. He's like, all right, big guy. Look like you're having a problem. He's like, don't do anything. He's struggling with this thing, and then Vax goes through and does his quick ninja dagger thing and cuts all the straps. Don't kill Vax. Like, so many different things. That leads right to Anders looking at him.
Don't be mad.
Right. Don't tell me what to do. And that leads directly to Anders looking over at him, and then the silver tongue is what comes in, and he fails his whiz save and charms him and kill Vox Machina, and it's echoed through Grog's voice.
And Grog later is like, I had two voices in my throat.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I stabbed a tongue to death. I stabbed a tongue in the face. That's what he says.
Right.
That's the best line. Oh my god. Yeah, so there's an amazing battle that ensues, right? Where they finally take down all those things. Grog gets possessed. Grog goes after Percy. Grog takes forever, and then he just possesses everyone else.
Yeah.
Right?
And so they're, which is a bit of a divergence from the stream, but certainly cinematic and dramatic and
great.
epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of his friends and, Percy starts kind of monologuing and getting Anders to engage with him.
Right.
And, it's like, oh, you think you can just like talk your way out of every situation. And he said, no, but I've talked long enough to make all of my calculations.
You gave me exactly the time I needed or whatever.
Yeah.
And shoots off his pepper box, and it pings around.
Yeah.
Catches Anders through the cheek, severs the tongue, explodes the jaw. It was so gnarly.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah. But then his quote, direct from stream quote was, yours was the face I saw when murder entered my heart.
And then
like,
blam.
Yeah.
It was crazy too. The gun. So his eyes are all black with orange irises, right? And the gun is up in the cavity of the guy's mouth. He has no jaw. But then the gun is like super hot and burning the inside of his mouth when he delivers that line. And then it's just window shattering, blood everywhere. Epic. So good.
One more name off the list.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, what do we got next?
Oh man. We get a little bit about, there's a star chart talking about the solstice.
Is that a connected dots?
Right, yeah.
I love the Grog inserts. It's so great.
Yeah. One of my favorite Grog quotes from the entire series was when the big zombie giant is walking through the street and they're hiding in the alleyway. Yeah. And one of the other persons, Grog, can you put in a good word for us? Is what? Because we all fucking know each other.
Yeah, where are we at this point? Because I think did we skip over the whole fight?
No. So that
hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, so that's basically the end of episode 8,
right?
With the silver tongue, and Keyleth goes out and does her big skywriting.
Oh, that's right. With the Dorolo crest,
right? Yeah,
where since the Briarwoods have taken over, Whitestone has been sort of eternally gloomy and dreary and overcast and all gross like that. So
that's right. She shapes the clouds.
Yeah, so she parts the clouds and lets sky shine through, and the Dorolo crest, which has like the imagery of the sun tree incorporated, and
then it shows Delilah and Silas talking on the balcony right at the end, and then that's like.
Yeah, so they're a little bit like, this is getting annoying. that kind of attitude. Like clearly they're still not really worried,
right?
But they're starting to take a little bit of notice of like, okay, this might be a bit more than the previous, like
more than the NPCs
rebellions
can handle, like the fodder NPCs, right?
Yeah. So then we start getting really intense. With episode
because Matt Mercer as the assistant shows up at the very beginning of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the end of the last one?
So that's where it picks up in the next one. Gotcha. Episode 9, Tide of Bone.
Oh, nice.
We start off with
it's a whore. It's a
okay, you're getting ahead.
I'm jumping ahead of it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can't help it.
No, that's all right. I feel like I'm the only one talking, and it makes me
this is where we get the Briarwood backstory, right? This is where we get their sort of why they're doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it shows really well what we see later on of like Delilah and Silas are just 1,000% eternally devoted to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and she clearly will do and does do anything.
Find someone that looks at you like Delilah looks at Silas. Life goals.
Exactly.
You need to make a shirt, or that has to be an Etsy thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. But so they came from Wildmount. Possibly some connections if you watch Campaign 2. But
no spoilers.
That's it. But so they came from Wildmount, and Silas was on his deathbed.
And Wildmount is, for the people that don't know.
Oh, sorry, the other continent. So in this world, there's so far kind of been revealed like 3 major continents.
Okay.
There's Tal'Dorei, which is the large western continent, Wildmount to the east, and Onkarel's the city. Mind blank, help me.
It's okay, I can help you. You're the expert.
Dang it. I'm losing all my credibility.
No, you're fine.
Down in the seas to the far, like southwest.
Yes. It'll come to you.
My brain just went to Daenerys. I'm like, no, that's the wrong video game,
nerd
wrong
reference.
Franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, so they're from the other continent and just kind of showed up mysteriously in Whitestone, which we kind of saw in the earlier episodes. But this flashback shows their kind of origins over there, where somehow she goes out searching for a way to save Silas, discovers this spooky book on necromancy and all of that. You know, I know for me, I'm curious about more of what that story is of like, what is the book? Where did she really go to find it?
Right. It's the Necronomicon.
Yes.
Right.
Perfect.
Necronomicon.
Nickel. I know it's an N-word.
It's definitely an N-word.
No, jeez, I need to watch that again.
So she then comes back and does like the blood carving on her arm.
That's right.
Draws a vagina on her arm for some reason. Why did it have to look like that? I'm such a dude. Jesus.
But
gatekeeper.
What's the matter? You don't like bloody vagina?
Gatekeeper. Oh, I love the seamless blending of franchises, please. Yes. For 5,000, Alex. What is a gatekeeper? That's the new slang from now on.
Oh, no.
100%. That's amazing. All right. Continue, please. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to be serious about like their dark necromancy spell language.
She's a dark gatekeeper. What do you? I mean, she is a brunette. So hey, and we're back.
Oh man.
Not you, the Lady Briarwood. Jesus Christ. Okay.
My hair is blue.
I don't need... Nah.
No,
moving on.
Jeez. So anyways, one of the words that I picked up on in the spell that she does during her transformation for Silas is I picked up on her saying Ruidus, which in the world of Tal'Dorei and Critical Role, there's 2 moons.
Okay.
So there's Catha and Ruidus. The larger Catha is the one that goes through kind of similar Earth style, you know, like monthly cycles and all that. Ruidus is the small red moon. Mm-hmm. And this is purely my theory now from kind of where we are. Let's see, where are we? March of 2022, wherever that is, episode 14 of campaign 3.
Planet Earth.
But there seems to be connections throughout all the different campaigns.
Oh, really? With the moon?
Between Ruidus and like shape-shifting.
Ooh.
Oh.
Interesting.
So I feel like we're starting to see more connections to that. So this is my like planting my flag of like, I called it.
Calling it. March 8, 2022.
Yeah. So picking up on that, I feel like there might be some kind of connection there with her transforming him into the vampire.
Oh, Roger. Okay, that makes sense.
You know, related to this spell incantation that says Ruidus.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my little moon conspiracy theory that goes along with it.
Hashtag there is no moon.
But yeah, so then when we cut back to present day in the story, in Whitestone, that's where they're starting to see the rebellion springing up and
She summons Matt Mercer
And
as
she
the
summons-
assistant.
Lady Delilah summons Matt Mercer, her squire or
Right,
whatever.
Yeah. What do you
and-
need, my lady?
Uh,
Can I bring you
like-
anything? You already have.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So blood sacrifice,
Yeah.
animate dead,
Yeah.
all of the dead of Whitestone, thousands of zombies
So great.
and skeletons.
yeah, safe house isn't so safe anymore.
I love the quick cut from the zombies and skeletons rising from the grave to Scanlan whistling and his you got Scanlan.
Right.
Like he's just going off, and then sees two guys making out in the corner necking.
Oh, that's right.
Literally. It's and I killed Sarah.
I'm dead.
Yeah. And hey, you
Can I
guys
get
got
a-
room for a third? I got enough magic below the waist to wake the dead or something like that. And then turns around and it's like, zombie.
Yeah.
And then he finally catches up with Vox Machina and he's like out of breath. There's a Scanlan, where'd you go? It totally worked. There's a this is not time for one of your
Right.
whorehouse stories,
Yeah.
Scanlan. It's a horde of undead. And then it pans out skeletons and zombies everywhere. Fucking brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
Ugh, jeez. And the I in my notes wrote faux machina hanging in the tree.
Oh,
In the
ouch.
sun
Yeah,
tree.
right.
Yeah.
They all start writhing and starting to
Right, 'cause
animate
they're
with
animated
like
too.
the it's
Oh,
like
no.
Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah.
terrible. So
Gone.
it shows all them and starting to, and yeah, it's literally like every
Everything that
graveyard
died, right.
in all of Whitestone
Right.
is becoming, undead, and it felt like a really like tide of bone.
Yeah, I haven't seen an undead horde on screen like that to that effect. Like,
Yeah.
kind of anime. It was really good and very
Yeah.
like, we have to get like, you need the highest position ever. You need to be able to get up and out of the way. And if
Yeah.
you're not fast enough, like they're trying to leave the safe house and the last couple people on the ladder just, you
Yeah.
can hear them getting ripped apart.
Yeah, and
It's nasty.
and they still gave it that sense of like
Oh.
the overwhelming, crushing
Right.
tides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without having to resort to kind of like excessive
Walking Dead
like
version. Yeah.
you
Or,
know,
Right.
yeah, that
like
we're going to board.
CGI,
Right.
1,000 different
Right.
things. Like you still
Yeah.
got that sense of pressing in from every side.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Mhm.
And as they're doing that, Percy busts out bad news
Oh, that's right. To take down the giant.
to
right?
take down the giant.
Oh.
So Percy typically uses his Pepperbox, a little 6-barrel revolver called the List,
Hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
got the list of names.
Right.
But then he's also working on Bad News, which is this like huge, ridiculously large
Rifle.
like
right.
rifle.
We saw him use that earlier in the series to do like spotting at the house, right?
Yeah,
You just saw him
he
use
used-
like, the
Yeah.
scope.
As a
Right.
scope, but
Right.
he didn't shoot it, and this was the first
What
time
is
he
that?
shot it.
Oh, just some bad news, and
Yeah.
folds it up and puts it in the
Yeah,
bag of holding or whatever.
nothing travels faster.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and it just like takes out one shot,
Right.
like an undead zombie giant.
Oh, and Grog is just loving. Oh yeah, do that again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wish I could. Unfortunately, it's still a prototype.
Yeah, so in D&D rules, that's gunslinger for if you roll low on
Yeah.
attacks, it'll misfire and cause damage to your weapon,
Hmm.
and you have to spend time like
right to
repairing
fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so since Matt kind of homebrewed a lot of this with Taliesin
That's
for
right.
these early weapons,
Yeah.
he's a fighter. He can take 2 attacks on his turn.
It's a lot.
So he does one, and it's this huge shot. Second shot is a misfire, and it damages the gun.
Gotcha.
So that's what happens game mechanics wise behind like that narrative
right,
of like
yeah.
it shoots and it's like just kind of blown to bits,
Right.
like oops,
Mhm.
But man, it's good. Yeah, and then this is the part where the battle really begins, and Vedmire comes in, and we see his hound burns.
Yeah.
But
This is the episode when they get backed up to the tree, right? They
Yeah.
get backed up to
Yeah.
the
So
tree.
yeah. So Vedmire kills Archie, right?
Oh no! In the Super Samurai anime version,
like the crossing swords.
Right.
Oh, that broke my heart.
And quickly too. Like, man, we wanted Hobbit in there longer. That was too bad.
You all, everybody.
Right.
And then Cassandra convinces Percy to sort of give his little Independence Day speech.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the first time we hear his full name too, right?
Right.
Percy,
that's right.
18 names.
Yeah. Percival Frederickstein von Musel Koslowski de Rollo III.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
Is that written down or is that off the top of your head?
It's totally not written down. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, they're basically getting pushed back on the tree. Everybody thinks they're gonna die. Vex and Caliph have their little moment, and then
you kidding me?
Really now?
Yeah,
right.
And you get my favorite part of the episode, which is Spike coming in.
Yeah, true Luke Skywalker Last Jedi form, astral projecting.
Fuck you. You do not get to put that bullshit into my great show.
Well done, Andy. Well done.
You guys are both dead to me.
That was for both of you. I'm telling you right now. That was for Joe and for Nate right there.
Oh my god.
No, I'm sorry. That's immediately what came to mind when you said I'm astral projecting. I'm like, you Luke Skywalkered yourself in there.
I feel so bad for you. That's the first thing you thought of.
Jeez. Yeah, so I heard, I haven't played it, but apparently there's a Borderlands, I think, entrance sequence that really closely resembles.
100%.
Including
Borderlands 2,
and then
right? Yeah, it's
right.
Borderlands 2 with Lilith, and
there
she does the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
With the 3-point superhero landing. What's up? She doesn't go through a giant as she
bisecting,
because that was amazing. Yeah,
that was incredible. Yeah,
you just get everyone's gonna die, rumbling in the sky, shiny lights coming in, and then just giant ray of holy, and then you see the glowy Pike, and she looks over her armored shoulder. Sup?
Yeah,
I literally yelled out loud when that happened. I was like, yes, it's so good. I love that, and then everything she does. And the rest of it.
And then she blesses the weapons, right? Yeah. They all become all glowy and shiny, and then that's when the tide starts to turn a little bit. The townspeople take down Vedmire.
I love the way she's everyone kicks some ass. Let's go bisect these fuckers or whatever.
Yeah. She does her channel divinity to destroy undead that just
wipes out a whole wave. Yeah,
a whole bunch of them. And so, I think we mentioned last time, Astral Projection Pike is Ashley Johnson on Skype.
In New York, on Blind Spot. In between set of her casting calls
I'm
for
pretty
Spot.
sure in the stream for this episode, they're like, Ashley, don't you have to be on set?
At 5 in the morning?
And she's like, we've got 3 hours. I can keep going. Like, oh, bless you.
Yeah. I do want to see somebody do a supercut with Pike and her whole montage here. Like supercut with Sting, like every little thing she does is magic. I think that would be brilliant. Back and forth. It's so good.
So it's like Pike here to save the day, and it's amazing. And she just gets everyone. And then, so when the townsfolk then have their blessed weapons and the other clergy member.
What's her name? Oh shoot, we should know this.
Hang on,
Zoe.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got the shield.
In our mind, we're like, oh, it's Zoe, but okay, come on.
Gina Torres.
But
with the character's name, it's not Lady something. It's
nope, because it was originally a male character in the stream.
Oh, yes, the high holy lady of the town.
I'm failing.
It's okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so
Keeper Yenin.
Keeper
Yenin. Thank you.
Keeper Yenin. So Keeper Yenin leading the townsfolk.
Right.
They've all got their charged up holy weapons. They're able to take on and distract the remaining amounts of the undead hordes. And
Ash what?
Yeah.
while everybody else gets to go over to the Zippertwat.
What? That's not what I thought it was going to be. That's not what I imagined in my mind.
But yeah, so Percy leads the group around to the secret tunnels where he and Cassandra attempted to make their escape out of Whitestone many years ago. They're using that secret entrance to go back through the dungeons to try to find the Briarwoods inside of Castle Whitestone.
Somebody says, wow, what a nice place you have here, Percy. And it's like, this is the dungeon.
I think it was cute, right?
Right.
Awkward, trying to be like, a lovely place. He's like, seriously?
Yeah. And then this is where they run into the doctor who's in the cell, right?
Ripley.
Yeah, Ripley.
Dr. Ripley. So in Stream, she's disguised herself magically.
Oh.
And so they come through the dungeons, and there's this random like old lady who's in there, like, please help me get out, that sort of thing. And they're like, why would the Briarwoods leave anyone alive in the dungeons?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. Excuse me. And what happens actually is Vex goes up and is like, okay, I'm gonna pick the lock, and she like tries to pick the lock, like, oh no, it's not working.
Oh, no.
Like that. I'm trying, that, and this disguised person runs up and is like, what are you doing, you idiot girl? That like angry and like grabs onto her arms through the bars, but Vex realizes that she only feels one hand grabbing her, even though it looks like two hands.
Oh my god!
Because
that's crazy.
Ripley is missing a hand.
Right.
And so that's how she realizes.
I don't remember this from the stream. Jeez.
Yeah, so that's how she realizes that this person is magically disguised, and it's a one-handed person, and they know from what Percy has told them that Dr. Ripley only has one hand.
I don't think we knew that watching the show, though, right?
Well, it's
weird.
It's revealed. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe Percy didn't know that because after Percy left and he's had his visions and started making his firearms, Ripley, who is also like an inventor, tinkerer, she starts copying his designs.
How does she get his designs, though?
I mean, I think it's a combination of just like spying and following him and all of that. And so she's trying to replicate. And in the stream, when they first kind of entered the town, they found like an abandoned laboratory where they found some schematics of guns and things like that.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that.
Signed with her Dr. Ripley's notes and all that. So she's clearly trying to replicate this new technology that Percy has invented in this universe.
Right.
So
but the end of the episode is like her asking for them to let her out because she's an enemy of the Briarwoods, and I'll take you to them if you free me. And then you just hear the smoke monster from Lost come in. This is the only freedom I offer you.
Yeah.
It's so fucking metal. I love it.
Like, so he's like, I am taking none of your bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. And then fade to black, and then your next episode, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That was a great ending. I loved it.
It was so good. But so
it was
she
very
at some
abrupt,
point
too, because they're like, oh, they're about to free her, and then he just bursts his way forward and
you're like,
delivers amazing line. Jesus, so
she at some point managed to blow her own hand off attempting to make guns.
Foreshadowing my favorite Matt Mercer character ever. Dream, which Joe, you guys will experience that.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Victor.
Yes.
Black magic.
Black
Black powder.
Yes.
Black powder.
So good.
All right. Carry us on. All right. So we're episode 11.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whispers of the Zippertwat.
The what?
Ziggurat. Sorry. All right. So we see just like an epic view of the ziggurat at the end of the previous episode.
Alexa, stop. apparently that's a keyword for Alexa. Sorry about that. Let me unplug.
She's summoning the whispered one.
Is a pyramid common in Mayan and Incan architecture. Thank you, Alexa. That's not what a Zippertwat is.
So
Moving on.
Yeah, so we see the ziggurat, and it's an ancient structure deep underneath Whitestone, buried underneath not just Whitestone Castle, but basically the whole city.
Right.
And
roots of the heart tree above
in
the cavern.
So, and it's glowing green because it's been empowered with residuum
blast, right? Yeah.
So as they were repairing and restoring it, that's where Ripley and Anders kind of came in to help reinstate and empower the ziggurat with the residuum. So as they're approaching, Ripley's basically like, peace out, I don't want to be here, and runs away. And that's when we kind of first see the struggle of
that's right, the demon and
Percy, of Percy with his smoke spooky vengeance demon. And
she's like, go ahead, shoot me. I'll hear it at the top.
It's
actually a brilliant moment to try to bail out,
taunting him and all that. And they're trying to be sneaky and not give away their position.
Foreshadowing
and so
further adventures with
anyone
Ripley.
who knows the stream. And also, interestingly, if you had subtitles on while you were watching, it tags the speech of the smoke creature as being Orthax.
Oh, nice.
Which is the name of the demon.
Of the demon, right.
Okay.
So if you happen to watch it with subtitles, it said, like Orthax, like, no, shoot her now, or whatever the line is.
That's a great point. I didn't even realize they never mentioned the name unless you had the subtitles on. Huh.
Right.
Cool.
But so you see his first kind of struggle with that, where he, as Percy, knows he shouldn't be doing it. Vengeance demon smoke is trying to
the power of the demon compels you.
Ultimately she gets away and enter into Amazeballs ziggurat fight.
The whole episode, right? Almost the whole episode.
Man.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was ultra battle royale.
Good.
Really good.
Man, and it's so dynamic, and the motions and the poses and the different angles and people swinging around and fighting. I
would
had
say
to
the editing,
rewatch
but
that
because it's animated, right? It's intentionally that way.
It's so good,
brilliantly done. Yeah, brilliantly done.
But so I was totally geeking out about that battle sequence, about how fast and the anime runs and all the different angles and things.
We completely skipped a part, right? In the previous episode, didn't they get trapped in the acid room?
Oh,
we completely bailed on that whole episode.
Oh god, we skipped an episode.
We skipped episode 10.
No, that was my fault.
It's okay. We'll get through it quickly.
Okay. Episode 10 highlights. Ripley is a dick. They fight fancy zombies of the old Derolo families.
That's right. Are all?
That's right. They're in
the crypt.
Yeah, they're in the crypt, and all the Uncle. What was it? I forget. Uncle what?
Nathaniel?
Yeah, Uncle Nathaniel with the monocle.
Monocle fancy zombie. You see Cassandra turns on the party.
Right, yeah.
But you see the little bit of the mind control flash.
Yeah, the charm flash on her eyes, yeah. And Vax tries to catch her before she can slam the door.
He goes, super dexterity run.
Haste boots or whatever. Yeah.
So he dives through and they turn on the acid pit filling into the room.
That was such a great, that trap was great. The way they got out of it was great. Naked Grog was hilarious.
Stripping down and diving into the acid.
My 13-year-old daughter watching this was like, buns!
Buns.
I love that. So we're going to cut ahead real quick because they figure out how to deal with the acid trap, etc. They use Scanlan's hand and all that to stay out of it. Grog swims down and Pike is healing him at the same time. And then afterwards, he's like, "Is Mr. Wiki okay?" And he's like, "Still hanging low, buddy." Oh, I forgot my drawers.
Yeah.
I love Grog so much. He's the best.
He's delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the construction of that room,
Right.
it's the acid comes down, basically like melts away the residuum. Excuse
That's
you.
some ASMR from Jobin right there. That was very loud.
Right.
Melts away the white stone to refine it down into the residuum.
Right.
Yeah.
And the doors that slam down
Made of
is
residuum, right.
residuum glass that you can see through.
Right.
And
Completely indestructible type.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they're beating like it's a whole like most of a 4-hour long stream
Right.
of them like getting through.
Beating through it, yeah.
But yeah, so it's like acid trap, classic.
And then now we're at the ziggurat. Okay,
Yep.
let's just. Is there anything that we missed that is important there? Besides that, Cass betrays them, and you can tell that she's charmed.
Yeah, that's basically episode 10.
Percy
Depths of
or
Deceit.
Scanlan hits on his sister at the beginning of that episode. Percy's
That's
like,
right.
no. Since we're both unattached adults, and
No.
yeah,
Like don't.
Scanlan's always looking. There you
Yeah.
go. All right. Welcome to the ziggurat.
You're right.
Anyways, so then
Ripley
amazing
escapes.
fight,
Yeah, amazing fight. There you go.
and it's super epic and dynamic and whoosh whoosh and magic and da da da.
So
Yeah.
let's take a beat real quick. Joe, with this epic fight, do you have a favorite part? There's a lot of different fighting happening. Did you have a favorite part of that ziggurat fight?
I don't think I did. I was just like wide-eyed and just like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah. Who's your favorite character at this point? You said it was Scanlan. Does
Yeah.
that still hold true?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Andy? What was your favorite part of the fight?
Well, so I found it interesting that Grog gets like knocked out right away.
Yeah.
You know, and like
Immediately.
because like he obviously he's the he's the big tank, and you're just like, oh, Grog's going for it, and then no, pop, he's
It's
out.
the beginning of Infinity War. They knock
Right.
out the Hulk.
No, I honestly love the interaction with Pike and Scanlan as Scanlan he's about to sing and get the hand out.
It's a silent spell. Yeah.
He gets shut up, and then Pike comes in and no, that's my dwarf, and like
No, wait, no.
No.
Hang on.
oh, that's my gnome, right?
The 5 people that listen to this will be angry if they know.
Right. No, absolutely.
Nerd
Yeah. And
rage.
then
Right?
and then I'm glad I can't hear you right now. I love
Right.
that
Yeah.
he says that.
The
And
heart
then-
in his eyes or whatever, right? Yeah.
Heart
Yeah,
20.
but-
Yeah.
But then as the battle progresses too, when it comes around, they silence Lady Briarwood.
Right.
So, and I love how it sort of came full circle with that. And that little element of the battle I thought was very cool.
Yeah. My favorite part, I think, anything with Silas in general is kind of my favorite part. I've got this whole like vampire character in the wings from an ex-D&D thing, so I'm digging that whole situation.
He's
I
so
also
cool.
dig how he's
Super sexy.
well. I wasn't going to say that he's super sexy, but
You can admit it.
I
You can be
appreciate that.
secure. in your-
if I was that attracted to him, believe me, I would say that. But I appreciate you throwing that out there. That was actually a great supercut. We got to put that together. He was so super sexy.
Yeah, right.
I love how they show how powerful he is in general, but he's kind of, I think he's kind of dumb in the he doesn't know ultimately what Lady Briarwood is going to do with him. She keeps saying you're too important. You're too important. I feel like he was going to have to be a component in the summoning, and that's why it failed at the end.
Yeah.
So that's just a guess. I don't know what's happening future in the thing. But my favorite part was his death. So when Grog is holding him, real man hug, and then Keela's got the sun thing going, and then does the full Kamehameha, sunbeam situation. And I think you mentioned earlier that's like a literal take from Dragon Ball Z, where somebody's holding somebody like that and gets the whole wave, kind of burning them out kind of situation. Which I haven't seen Dragon Ball either, but that was my favorite, and the fact that Keyleth, this whole kind of arc of this whole season has been her finding her confidence, and then she basically at that point she is just like full on mode, channeling the power kind of situation. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, because early on she gets thrown against the wall and
Right.
is basically passed out.
Right.
And she
And
like
Vex is
reaches
getting killed by Vax, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
so she reaches out to the roots of the sun tree
Mhm.
and is like, you know, please help me, I
That's
need
right.
you.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
like bolsters her up when she gets that druid connection
Right.
back.
Yeah, it was very cool.
But-
What was
and-
your favorite part of the fight?
I definitely like that part with Silas and man, I also liked Percy and Cassandra.
Yeah, that back
where
and forth,
you know
yeah.
it's like he doesn't want to kill her,
Right.
but she's also betrayed them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Orthax has put her name on
the
one of
gun
the barrels
now, right?
of the
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens in the previous episode,
Yeah.
right before she
When
betrays
she-
them.
yeah,
the
right.
name
Yeah.
shows up. You go,
Yeah.
holy shit! Wait a minute.
Yeah, you're like, what? Why? And then she's over on, the other side of the
yeah.
room and
Hits
pulls the
switch.
lever.
Yeah,
But
Very
man,
cool.
you know, that's so good. And you know, you're there like, is she mind controlled? Did she really betray them?
Right.
You know, is she you know, whatever, Stockholm syndrome that's not
Mhm.
really a syndrome, you know,
no,
thing
not when
that-
you're magically charmed, right?
you know, but like where, you know, some of the logic that she says makes sense.
It does, yeah.
And like the
you
like
left me
you
in.
left
right? Yeah,
and you didn't even come back to check or
Right.
try, and
Right.
they, you know, took me in and
Yep.
all of
Yeah,
that.
I didn't pick up on the charm for the longest time, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
whenever you
I
get-
like how
I totally bought her story.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there was a bunch of truth to that too, though. I don't think that wasn't all made up. I'm sure that's how
Yeah.
she felt in general, and that's how they sell it. I really love how they translate the D&D mechanic, the spell mechanics, into the actual visualization with people. You don't have to have any experience in D&D or in Vox Machina at all to kind of get what's going on.
right.
So it's just those little clues and that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
really like how they did that.
Yeah, but I think they also just do. There's been a lot of like ambiguous morality in the characters.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's not your classic like that's a good guy, that's
Yeah.
a bad guy.
Except for Pike.
Yeah.
And she struggled with that stuff.
right.
you know,
but there's a
comment
lot of
earlier,
like
it's like, that's why I hate traveling with holy people. It's too damn good. You know?
Yeah.
right, you know, so you see like Delilah who is devoted and loving and
Right.
just wants to save her husband, you know, and
Yeah.
dubious methods
Yeah, right.
perhaps.
And
but-
then he gets ashed by a sunbeam
Yeah.
and then goes full crazy. Like,
yeah.
oh my God, she just screams out of the silent spell basically
Yeah.
and knocks
Yeah.
everyone on her ass.
Yeah,
And
another fan favorite line in there, the you know, Silas, I broke the world for us.
Oh, right. God.
You know.
Jobin, what were you going to say?
I would say Grey Delisle does just the best unhinged, fucking crazy lady.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like between this and Azula, I'm like, oh my god, perfect.
I mean, you can see her in that moment, like, of all the fighting and everything that's going on,
Right.
like, once you hit there, now you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, now you're in
Like,
trouble.
Now,
Yeah.
now we've got a problem. So she, you know, goes up and they're like, oh, she's running away. It's like, no, this is much worse.
Yeah.
Going up to the top of the ziggurat and starts performing the ritual,
Right.
which you learn is early. It's supposed to happen on the solstice.
Right. Oh, right.
But
I forgot
it's a
about that.
few-
Yeah.
It's a few days early. They're not quite ready yet, but you know,
And-
she's effectively lost everything.
Right.
So
Well,
she
Celis
performs it.
mentions that on the balcony, right? Isn't it
Yeah.
too early or whatever? And she's like, "Oh, we have to start it now." Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like she's backed into a corner, wild animal lost everything.
Right.
And
In the
like, well,
room that she goes
Fucking Hail Mary.
Yeah, Jobin, how'd you like that room that she goes into to perform the ritual that has like half zombies everywhere lining the walls?
along
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That needs to be wallpaper. Oh my god, that'd
Oh,
be great. Digital
gross.
wallpaper.
Yeah, I think new plan for the bedroom.
Right? Just the back wall. Just what do they call
only
that?
if you put like LEDs at the eyeballs.
With the eyeballs.
so
that'd
they're
be,
all-
that'd be easy to do actually in a wall.
Yeah.
Jeez. Accent wall. There you go.
Yeah.
Undead accent wall. Oh yes.
And over here is our accent wall.
Right.
Populated with the unending souls of the forever curse.
Do we have to make an Etsy listing just for that? Just
Oh
for
my
the
God.
tagline?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
But-
And you have one of those the Halloween things that you have on your porch, and somebody walks up, it does the like
Right.
the sound effect. Oh, that's great. Okay, sorry. Continue, please.
Let's see in there. So in the ritual spell that she does, there are some more phrases that might be spoilers, so I'm going to skip over that.
Okay, please skip over that.
But yeah, so they're there and they finally get, some shots on her and distract her and kind of interrupt the ritual. She does a either finger of death or power word death. I might be mixing up
Power word kill, finger of death. Yeah.
So she's trying
trying to take
that at Vex.
Yeah, because Vex shoots her with an arrow.
Yeah.
And she turns around and does the whole spiky bits.
And Keyleth intercepts
jumps
it.
in the way. Yeah.
And
Oh,
effectively,
Kiki.
poor Kiki.
Hmm.
So I think they've played up and kind of over dramatized the butting heads of Keyleth and Vex. I think they've just kind of played on that for the sake of drama.
I like it though because she's super protective of her brother. It's her only family, and
It makes sense for her character.
That flower has thorns and all that. I think
like I warned you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's effectively the turning point,
right? Yeah.
Where
Saves her life,
she sort of makes amends with Keyleth, but ultimately the ritual fails.
Right. And
we
see
see
shadow
this
of
little
the thing.
flash of this whispered one.
Yeah.
And not going to go into more detail on that, but we're left behind with this like small spinning black
orb of danger.
Yeah. And so that's just their like hyper speed spinning, this small thing, but that's where it ends. And episode 12, comes back up basically at that point.
Yeah.
But they're trying to rescue Keyleth, and Pike goes over, and you said Addie.
Oh yeah. Oh man, we gotta heal her quickly before the and Pike, her vision or the astral projection of Pike just shatters, and Addie at that moment. So I let my daughter watch this. Probably not my finest hour, but it's amazing. And Keyleth is her favorite character, and when Keyleth intercepts the finger of death or whatever the pointy bits, she like literally yelling out like no, Star Wars style. And but then it's worse because it opens up on the next episode with Pike coming over, who she knows is the cleric, like, oh god, she's gonna be okay. And then Pike shatters into nothing. She's like, wait, what? Like she thinks that we're losing Keyleth at that point.
Right.
She's got tears in her eyes. It was nuts.
Yeah, but you've got full on, healing spells, the magical potion that'll heal
nothing
her.
works.
None of it works.
Right.
And so they've figured out that whatever has happened here, the failed ritual, the spinning orb, whatever it is, we've got like basically an anti-magic zone. So, they start running away and, Scanlan's like testing it with his little Scanlan's hand.
Right.
Okay, we've got magic again. Like, go ahead. But remembering to save your resources, they're all out of healing potions.
Right.
But narrative wise, we have Vax get some of her herbs and things and try to recreate
does the spit and all that. Right. Yeah.
And Scanlan with another fabulous.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But so they're actually back in the acid trap room, which is now far enough away, and they're able to revive Keyleth. She's finally going to be okay.
And there's magically a pool of acid again after it had been drained.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
Continuity.
I know.
You're right.
But
you had how long to get this right? It was almost perfect.
Everything's right.
I'm just kidding. It was great.
But so they dragged back Lady Briarwood.
Yeah. Right.
Who's been, shot with arrows, shot with pepperbox.
Shot pepperbox several times.
Dragged her back bleeding to this area.
Right.
Because, so Percy being like, whatever, Keyleth is dead, this is all that matters.
Right,
And then they're
right.
like, Keyleth is still breathing, like
Right.
she's still
Yeah.
here. So you see the demon
The
like
shadow thing come
taking
over, him, right? Yeah.
and you know, he's so tunnel vision
Right.
on
Yeah.
his
Killing Lady
vengeance.
Briarwood, right?
But so they pull her back, and we've got No Mercy Percy.
Hashtag no mercy Percy.
I
love that.
I love that.
So dark, and it's so good, and
Yeah, they do a great job with the whole demon struggle.
yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe, did you love it?
Yeah.
I feel like as a horror person,
Oh yeah, totally loved it.
so good. But man, it's intense, and like you really see
Yeah, the
The
fight. Yeah.
fight and struggle, and a little bit into kind of like this dream, like what he's seeing in his mind
Right.
being so distorted
yeah, how the
and
demon has
skewed.
affected his thought
You know,
process and his
Yeah,
vision.
so he's seeing the people on his list and is shooting at them,
As his
but it's
friends,
really his
right.
friends
Yep.
and all of that.
Yeah.
But man. And so ultimately that ends with Delilah has another little monologue, and
she's at while Percy is trying to kill his friends, she manages to crawl back to where the button is to actuate the glass door, right? And starts monologuing for some reason instead of escaping.
Yep.
Because that's what you do.
Right.
Right. So, Vex goes up to Percy and is like, darling, take off the mask.
Darling.
Yeah.
But so he eventually regains more control.
Yeah, because he's about to kill her. Right?
Yeah, and she's there and, is doing her monologue. Another foreshadowing of cities will fall, titans will rise. Right. But Percy doesn't kill her.
Right.
Only then 2 seconds later to have Cass go up and stab her
rapier through the throat.
Yeah.
So good.
But I mean, it's like
in the previous episode, we didn't talk about this. In the previous ep, once Lord Briarwood dies, Cassandra wakes up out of her charm effect, and so does Vax from the vampire guy.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's full on. Nope, we're not going to let that happen again. And whoink, I'm going to take your Adam's apple, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
And so they toss her body in the acid.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like, hey, you're like a undead necromancer. Yeah. If we just leave your body around,
you're probably coming back. Yeah, that's a lich waiting to happen.
Their version of a double tap.
Exactly right. Yeah, always
absolutely.
Confirm the kill.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they do that, but then in conjunction, Percy has had his pepper box knocked away.
Right.
Scanlan grabs it and also tosses the gun in the
Percy
acid.
tries to stop him first. He's like, "Oh no, I'm fine. It's a powerful weapon, a big powerful tool to help us, and that kind of thing." And then Scanlan goes,
"Oh yeah,
sure." And then no, and throws it into the acid.
Scanlan for the win.
You have any idea how expensive that is?
Then you get a little demon thing coming up. He goes, "Oh,"
like the smoke, like
right, yeah.
Like,
did you?
Ooh.
How did you know? It's like, oh, I totally guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we now in episode 12? Because this ending is insanity.
So I mean, that's effectively, the defeat of the Briarwoods in this arc, and they return.
Has been gone.
Yeah, the demon's gone. They return back up to the people of Whitestone, who clouds are parting and sun shining.
Before that happens, Grog grabs Craven's Edge, the crazy sword that Lord Briarwood had.
Right.
Oh, fighters keepers, and grabs the sword and looks through it, and it's all wavy, like, oh, okay. And then cut to the next part.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure nothing terrible will
happen. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Everything will be okay.
But yeah, so they go up, and poor Vax is like trying to talk to Keyleth again because he had confessed his love,
his undying love during the
I'm in love with you, right? But she's like, there's so much my Aramente and responsibility, all that. And so there's kind of two parts here that I love about that is their ongoing like romantic tension of struggling to find that balance of
And
what she views as like
Yeah.
her duty and responsibility,
Right,
and not feeling like she can make room for like affection and romance.
Right. But they empowered
with
her
him.
too, right? Because they retconned. Didn't he steal a kiss in the actual web series? I'm pretty sure they retconned that. That was an article I read recently. That
Okay, I know
I think he steals a kiss in the stream, and they completely retconned that for this.
Interesting. Yeah, I know.
Specifically
I know
to give her
he's-
more agency, I think.
Yeah, I know he said the line of
right.
being in love with her,
Right.
but you kind of see that a lot, and as the story continues, we'll see kind of how that how they try to balance. Anyways,
we're almost there.
But part 2,
Finish line, focus.
Part 2, the funny part of that, he's like, okay, I'm gonna walk away,
Right?
Which is a callback to Vax constantly throughout the stream.
Mhm.
You know, he's like Mr. Dark, broody, edgy rogue.
Right.
You know, he's like, you know, he's gonna do something or say something or whatever. He's like, and then I walk away. You know, it's like, whoosh. You know, and of course he rolls like a 34 on his stealth check. So they're like, no, you can't just walk away. I see you. He's like, no, you don't. Like, I'm a rogue with advantage on my stealth checks. Like,
oh no.
it's like, ugh. So yeah, that little line of like, I'm gonna walk away. That was like the callback to
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't
like
get
the
that before.
I walk away.
Nice. So he's getting the cold shoulder.
Yep.
She denies, basically. It's like, I'm too busy. Don't no time for love.
Yeah. So, you know, they're like, what is that orb that was left down there? And Keeper Yinden's like, oh, we
sent some people down there. It should be fine.
Yeah. And then we see the guy like,
and then we've got top men on it. Yeah,
top men.
Priest goes to touch it and gets sucked into the orb and basically stripped from skin down.
Yeah.
Into
Which
the
is
orb.
I'm pretty sure our hidden mercer for
for that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, gets like
pulled
black
into the orb.
hole sucked into the orb. But then they're ready to go back to Taldore.
Yeah,
and, you know,
Castle Greystone.
Grayskull.
Grayskull Keep, sorry.
Talk to the council and all that. So they're like, oh, it's going to take a long time to get back down there. But Keyleth in game at this point has leveled up and has the ability to
teleport via plants.
Yeah, transport via plants. Yeah. So, and they use this a lot in the show. Right. In the show.
Right.
So she uses the sun tree as their portal. And
hey guys, I can't hold this forever.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's so funny where she's like, well, I learned this thing. I mean, it's actually kind of tricky and it only works in these situations and I can only do it like once a day.
You got this.
And you know, so it's like all those caveats of like spell mechanics of like you only have one, you know, 7th level spell slot
exactly.
you know, but putting that into the narrative terms and all that.
It worked out really well.
They go back and we have kind of like a nice little bit of a montage of them getting settled back in. Everything feels
they
comfy, cozy.
Cutlery again back at Castle Grayskull, which I really wish they would call it that. Yeah, they can't, obviously, because that's what they call it in the stream is Castle Grayskull. Or no, Grayskull Keep. That's what they call it. Yeah. They could probably get away with that in the actual show.
I think so.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really like that they showed is so Percy at one point when he's battling Orthax shoots a hole through his own hands. Oh, right.
Yeah.
And we see back at the keep
residuum crystal
a residuum crystal
hand,
there.
Yeah.
So in the game, he magically creates an item called diplomacy,
right?
Which is like a lightning grip,
shocking grasp deal, right? Yeah,
yeah. So it's like a glove that's charged
diplomacy. That's amazing,
right?
That is great.
So you know, in the stream, it's just like a glove that he puts on, but they showed
how they put it as in his hand. Yeah,
cool. And it's very like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Putting the glove on.
It is 100% Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So, you know, we see that we, you know, a few more callbacks to doors being their nemesis and all those good things.
Oh, and then we get
wait, did we skipped over the part where they're trying to open the door at the
which one?
Yeah, right.
No, but and the guy eventually comes out and throws the piss on him.
No, that's in the previous. That was at the.
That was in the previous 6.
Yeah, so that's when they were trying to rescue.
That's right.
Donald
That's
Monahan.
right.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
No, it's okay. But that was
It was a great one.
was great.
Yeah.
There were at least 2 other door encounters that I kind of skipped over in this one, but
yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, end scene, Jarrett arrives with a summons from Sovereign Uriel saying that the King of Tal'Dorei has a proclamation, at which point everyone who's seen the stream gasps and goes, oh no.
Yeah.
But it shows them arriving at the palace and Vex getting her spidey sense primeval awareness tingle.
Horns start blowing, alarm bells start ringing.
Yeah.
And you see the outline in the sun.
Yeah, the one dragon outline in the sun that quickly becomes multiple beating wings and spreads out, and it's the other 4
spreads
dragons.
into the 4.
Yeah.
So now we've got stage set for an amazing season 2 from a conclave.
Yeah, Jobin, when you get to this, Andy, are you watching the stream now too?
Well, no. So I've caught the one-off Elden Ring.
No, I haven't watched that yet at all.
Yeah, last week, and then I just watched like 5 minutes of the one last week and realized that I should really start.
Yeah. Joe, where are you at? You started watching the campaign 1, right?
Yeah. So where am I? Shoot.
You were talking about the whole Underdark arc.
Yeah, so no, I'm still there. I haven't listened anymore since then.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. It's
you are approximately 0.2% complete.
Exactly.
There's so much content. It's nuts. 3 to 4 hours a pop,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I figured out I have to listen to it when I'm when I can pay attention. Because I'll put it on when I'm working or driving, and I'll miss some things, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and listen to it again.
It's easy to miss stuff. Sorry guys, I know we're going really long. What do you guys think overall? Thoughts for the future? What's your favorite stuff? How do you want to end this one up, Andy?
No, this was so much fun, and it's honestly, it's a great, you can watch this without any D&D knowledge and be entertained and really enjoy it. But then when you understand the nuances of what they do here with the D&D campaign, it really ties the room together. It's a lot of fun. And it does.
It's a great run. Yes.
Right. But no, it's, the fact that you get those fun door references, the fact that you get misfires, right? And it's not just for dramatic effect, right? It honestly, it works within the mechanics of D&D. And so, it's again, had I not, if I were not friends with you guys, I probably would not have watched this.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And exactly. And that's, I watched the first 3 by myself. I watched the first 6 by myself, and then I told my wife, I said, you know what, you would probably totally be into this, right? And I'm and so that's what took me so long to watch the final 6, is because we had to watch it together, because she was into it at this point.
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, she loved it. No, she thought it was great. She loves Grog. Grog was her favorite character through the whole thing. But we watched Blind Spot together, so we knew Amy Jo Johnston, and she, throughout the whole entire Blind Spot series, she made these references to D&D and just being a nerd, and she developed in her character in the game, developed some online world that people log into, like a World of Warcraft or something like that, right? And so she was like a secret millionaire in that regard. So
nice
to see, just that sort of fun connective tissue of, no, this was who she is, and she actually put some of herself into that character. I just thought was really cool. So no, again, this is one of those things that, again, you don't necessarily need the inside reference to watch, but again, as a whole, just makes it so much better if you know those little nuances, which now I know. and that's what it is. Joe,
and knowing is half the battle.
There you go. Nice.
All right. What do you think, Joe?
I loved it, which, I mean, you guys know I'm like a sucker for adult animation. So the minute I was like, okay, it's like a D&D, but like not for kids, I'm like, I'm there.
Adult, yeah.
I'm so there.
Didn't Titmouse do Castlevania and a couple of those other ones too, right?
I'm not exactly
I
sure.
thought it was the same animation studio that did those. Maybe not.
It might have been. Beats me, and yeah, shame on me for not knowing.
No, it's just another good connection if it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, exactly what Andy said. You know, you don't need to know D&D to like this show, but it helps get you into it. Like, because you know, I wanted to listen to Critical Role, but it was kind of like how you were saying about Supernatural. It's just so much that I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, for sure.
And after watching this, I'm like, I could find some time.
Right? It's so good. They did a great job of making it super accessible, which is exactly what they needed to do with something like this. That's very niche and especially the source material. You know, there's a lot of critters out there, but there's way more people that have no idea what the fuck is going on. So you can't have everything be an inside joke. So they did a great job of it, I thought.
Well, and this just made me fall in love with all the characters to the point where I'm just like, oh yeah, if I'll listen to 3 hours of them just bullshitting and going on adventures, and hell yeah.
Yeah, I need the backstory, big time, right?
Yeah, more Grog and more Scanlan, I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah, but and then again, and again, seeing them live on Twitch the last 2 weeks, it was nice to hear those voices, you know, sort of play with each other and have fun, both in the one-off and then in the continuation of their thing. I just thought that was a lot of fun. So it does, and at one point there were 75,000 people watching.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like insane.
It's crazy. So I thought that was really again, to be able to bring this into the limelight, I just thought was very cool and like so perfectly well done. I just thought it was great.
Yeah. Sarah, what are your thoughts, being the expert?
I mean, it was everything.
No spoilers.
It was everything I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
And I think I said last time, like, anything that lets me share something that I love and fangirl about with more people, like, that makes me happy. You know, and I adore the creators and the cast and all of them. I think they're, you know, great people and they do a lot of really good stuff. And I love D&D and all of that. Yeah. And so it's just like, let me share more awesomeness with you. Yeah. And so, I love that it was more accessible but there was still plenty in there for like the more diehard critters.
For sure. There was a lot for the critters in there. Yeah.
You know, and so it was just delightful. And I'm so excited to see more. We know that season 2 is already confirmed by Amazon. Yeah. Potentially as early as the end of this year.
Well, so the season 2 is already confirmed.
Knock on wood.
No, season 2 is confirmed 100%. Production could potentially be done or in production. So rumor is we might get season 2 maybe the end of this year, hopefully by January at the latest. So
that's great.
That was their original schedule, was to have season 2 out this year. First season was supposed to be 2020, but then, you know, coronavirus. So
yeah,
the whole global pandemic thing. Oh, messing up my streaming schedule.
Right.
But so I'm excited to see more and a lot more and all of that. It makes me so happy. Yeah. And you know, I've had this like dorky grin across my face 100%. This whole stream. So
man, I can't thank you enough for getting me into the Critical Role thing, even though I had kind of pushed away from it for so long, just because it was so much to do. Like, but what else do I have to do right now for half my time is free? So I'm really glad that I got into it. I'm actually really happy that I had gone past where the show was, basically. So when some of those things like the spooky carriage going up the path, like towards the dinner, like, oh, I know what that means. You know, so you didn't have to be a fan. You didn't have to know anything about Critical Role, but it gave you a little extra. And I'm so glad I started at the first campaign instead of trying to, you know, skip it or catch up or whatever. So, I've been saying this for as long as we've been podcasting. I'm a huge fan of the D&Ds. I'm a uber dork at heart, and anything that pushes that forward, I'm a huge fan of. And I think it's not, I'll say it again, I've said this before, it's not hyperbole to say that this show will change television, because the success of this show will spawn more like it. And that's exactly what I'm here for. So, because Lord of the Rings begot any other fantasy success movie afterwards, and then this show is going to beget the same. So, yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait. And I need to get back to the damn stream, because I think I'm at episode 84-ish right now, wrapping up the whole dragon thing that potentially could be happening.
So you've only got like 4 to 5 years to catch up on.
Exactly right. Yes, exactly right. So I'm getting there, but yeah, it's great. I can't say enough about it. And the fact that they also have, a nonprofit charity and a bunch, they're full on corporation at this point. So they do all of that, but they're really focused on giving back. And just look up criticalrole.com in general. And then what's the name of the charity? Is
Critical Role Foundation.
It's Critical Role Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put those links in the show notes. Really great.
They do a lot for A26LA has always been one of their charities that they work with to encourage, creative writing and underprivileged youth. They've done work with schools in India to help break some of the caste separation systems, there, and just all sorts of things. And you can just tell that they pour their heart and soul into all of it.
They're great people, and just examples of what great nerddom and great responsibility used
great power
and great responsibility used wisely through the lens of nerddom can accomplish. So I'm super excited. I just want to give a quick shout out to Games of Martinez. We have the gaming store that opened up here locally, and I know this is not a D&D show, but this show is using D&D, so I want to make sure they get a shout out. I spent a lot of time with the manager there today. I didn't catch her name, but we had a great conversation, and they're trying to get more people down there. So support your local hobby shops, gamesofmartinez.com. It's at 532 Center Avenue in the Martinez, California. So
it's a shame I actually have not been there yet. I need to remedy that.
I gave you the address. No excuses.
I do my grocery shopping at Nob Hill. Like there really is no fucking excuse.
It's way worse than Joe.
Yeah. Can I do a quick shout out and plug?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So I've been involved for a couple years now in a D&D advent calendar on Instagram, which is like a December month-long giveaway of a whole bunch of small crafty businesses related to tabletop gaming. And the organizer of that, who's Tabletop Crafter on Instagram, is organizing a website called Tabletop Creator Hub.
Nice.
And I think it's just about getting ready to launch, but it's this really cool community of small business tabletop goodies and accessories and dice and creators. And
that's awesome.
It's where you can go for all of these small businesses and artisan crafters who, like we said, pour their heart and soul into every little thing that they make. I've got some gorgeous, dice bags, trays, geeky wood signs.
All your propane and propane accessories.
There's so much cool stuff there. There's 2D artists and painters and character commission. I could go on and on and on. But so, keep your eye out on Instagram for Tabletop Creator Hub.
Nice.
And all of those folks, and support your small geeky businesses.
Yeah, like Griffin Stitches on the Etsy's.
Yeah, I drink and I sew things.
Yay! You're gonna have to pay us royalties for that.
Oh,
after we pay Game of Thrones royalties.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Hey, why are you bringing them into this shit, Andy? Jesus.
I don't know.
All
right, wrap it up.
Our cease and desist letter will be in the mail.
Right, exactly. So what did you guys think of Vox Machina? Let us know in the comments. You can find us on Facebook at the Rum and Regret Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at rum_regret. You can find us on Instagram, Nate,
Avid Gamer, AV1D Gamer. Sorry, I jumped the gun. We're going to have to go backwards. What did you do there?
What's our Instagram again?
Rum and Regret.
Okay, it's just Rum and Regret. Anyway, Joe, where can they find you on the socials?
At Joe Chickadee on all the socials or at joechickadee.com.
Nate, where can they find you on the socials?
Avid Gamer, AV1D Gamer on all the socials and your gaming platforms of choice. Oh my God. Play Elden Ring. For the love of God, it's amazing.
Sarah Griffin, where can they find you?
I am Griffin Stitches on Etsy and Instagram.
Excellent. I am Crazy Drake on Facebook, Andrew Drake on Twitter, and until the next time, we have spoken.
Yes, sure. She's the tits. Let's go.
No, wait. It's the Zippertwat.
You ass what?